Essaaha ziikira musanju ez'amusana wabala kuwuliriza BBS Pamma.
VOA News, I'm Tommy McNeil. Israel's government said Sunday that it rejects the unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state. The news comes amidst growing calls by the United States and other countries for a two-state solution as the Middle East conflict worsens. VOA's Veronica Balderas Iglesias has those details.
The Israeli cabinet's vote came a day after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli President Isaac Herzog on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference. While a strong supporter of the Jewish state, the United States has also been a longtime proponent of a two-state solution to permanently end the conflict in the Middle East. On the ground, Palestinians were seen Sunday inspecting the damage caused by an Israeli strike in Rafah, where the population is gearing up for an Israeli ground offensive. Already more than 28,000 Palestinians have been killed in the war, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News.
The United States top court on Monday opens a week of hearings on the legal consequences of Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories, with more than 50 states due to address the judges. VOA's Joe Ramsey reports.
In 2022, the UN General Assembly asked the court for an advisory or non-binding opinion on Israel's occupation. While Israel has ignored such opinions in the past, it could pile on political pressure over its ongoing war in Gaza, which has killed about 29,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza health officials, since October 7th. Among countries scheduled to participate in the hearings are the United States, Israel's strongest supporter, China, Russia, South Africa, and Egypt. Israel will not, although it has sent written observations. Joe Ramsey, VOA News.
This is VOA News. Days after Alexei Navalny's death in Russian custody, world leaders and mourners are expressing outrage and sadness over the loss of the longtime critic of the Kremlin and Russian President Vladimir Putin. VOA's Russia Urbasani.
Russia officially blames Navalny's death on an undisclosed illness at the Arctic penal colony where he was serving a 19-year sentence. Western leaders aren't buying it. U.S. President Joe Biden.
Make no mistake, Putin is responsible for Navalny's death. Putin is responsible. What has happened to Navalny is yet more proof of Putin's brutality. No one should be fooled, not in Russia, not at home, not anywhere in the world.
And as protesters left flowers and notes near the Russian embassy in London, people in Moscow do the same, calling Navalny a hero who fought for freedom. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.
The debate in Australia about immigration policy and border protection has been reignited after the arrival of about 40 men reportedly from Pakistan and Bangladesh in Western Australia. Australia's policy called Operation Sovereign Borders orders the country's Navy to tow or turn away migrant boats. VOA's Phil Mercer reports.
Conservative opposition leader Peter Dutton told reporters that the Labour government had lost control of the nation's borders.
I don't know whether the same level of surveillance is being undertaken as was the case when we were in government.
But Prime Minister Anthony Albanese told local media that his government remains committed to securing Australia's maritime borders.
Operation Sovereign Borders is in place. If you arrive here by boat, you will not be settled here.
Migrants arriving by boat seeking asylum in Australia are not committing a crime. Australia calls them unauthorised maritime arrivals. Phil Mercer, VOA News, Sydney.
Australian media say that at least 53 men have been massacred in an escalation of tribal violence in Papua New Guinea. A top police official in the country told Australian Broadcasting Corporation that the members of a tribe, their allies, and mercenaries who were on their way to attack another tribe when they were ambushed. Police officials said the victims were expected to be found after the attack Sunday in the nation's remote highlands. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called the news of the massacre disturbing as has opportunity to assist New Guinea, which is Australia's nearest neighbor and largest recipient of Australian foreign aid. Tommy McNeil,
A very good afternoon, listeners of Bunyoro Broadcasting Services. It is the 19th day of February 2024. Welcome to the lunchtime news bulletin. But before, let's have a look at what has made headlines. Masindi District Chairperson calls for increasing school capitation grant. Catholic bishops to start one week-long retreat. And European towards construct orthopedic ward valued at 900 Uganda shillings. Ambagonza Frederick Mandela to weigh in the details. Masindi District Chairperson Cosmas Byalanga has appealed to the government to increase the capitation grant gives to schools in order to enable the children of the poor to acquire quality education. While commenting on last year's primary reading examination and senior final examination results, in which private schools in the district outperformed the government-aided ones, Byalanga attributes the poor performance of the learners in most government schools to little funding government gives to its schools. Byalanga noted that unlike the private schools where the learners pay a lot of money, the government gives only 6,000 shillings per child per year in a universal primary education school as capitation grant, which he says is too little to cater for the learners' requirements. He says that this has led the children of the poor, who form the majority of the learners in government-aided schools, to get poor quality education compared to their counterparts in private schools. However, the chairperson also blames the parents for not valuing education, which lead to their children frequently absenting from schools, and they fail to cover the syllabus, leading to poor performance in national examinations. The Member of Parliament for Masindi Municipality, Joab Businge, attributes the poor academic performance by the learners in government-aided schools to lack of commitment by the teachers, who end up not delivering to the expectation. The Member of Parliament calls for the changes in the attitudes by the teachers in government-aided schools if the schools perform better. All Catholic bishops in Uganda have today started a week-long retreat, during which they will deliberately focus on different issues, including praying for the church and the country. News of the retreat was disclosed by the Archbishop of Kampala, Bishop Paul Semogerere, and Bishop Joseph Anthony Ziwa of Kiyinda Mityana Diocese, who also doubles as the head of the Uganda Catholic Episcopal Conference. The two senior prelates led the celebrations to mark 155 years of arrival of the first Catholic missionaries, Father Lodell, also known as Mapera, and Brother Amans at Kigogo, Entebbe, where thousands of faithful trekked to commemorate the Mapera Day. The event also marked the beginning of celebrations to commemorate 60 years of the canonization of the Uganda Martyrs. Yege Parish from Entebbe Dinari led the liturgy to mark the day. Bishop Shemogerere, who was the main celebrant at the function, asked Christians not to look for the bishops in their offices beginning today, as they will be out for the retreat. During the main sermon, Bishop Shemogerere also delivered warm greetings from the Cardinal Emmanuel Wamala, who he said was at 97 years, in good health, praying for them in the church. He also challenged every Christian to ask themselves what they have done to advance the mission of evangelization kicked off in Uganda by the missionaries. Reiterating Papa's message of 1966, Bishop Semogerere said it was time for Africans to become missionaries, including evangelizing the nations of Europe, where the first missionaries to Africa came from, because the faith there was dwindling. Bishop Ziwa announced Nebi Diocese will lead this year's Martyrs' Day on 3rd of June celebrations at Namugongo. In Jinja, European tourists have undertaken the construction of a modern orthopedic ward at Jinja Referral Hospital. The 64-bed capacity ward is 80% complete and is said to be commissioned within the next 2 months. Valued at 900 Ugandan shillings, the ward aims to alleviate congestion in the existing facility, which only accommodates 24 beds. In addition to expanding capacity, the new ward includes special rooms for children to prevent their mingling with the adults. Upon completion, It will be equipped with specialized beds and mattresses for patients with disabilities, enhancing their access to quality health care. Furthermore, the ward features isolation room to facilitate comprehensive orthopedic care for patients with contagious diseases alongside their routine medical treatment. The initiative stemmed from a group of European tourists led by Samuel Leeds, who embarked on an adventurous expedition along the River Nile, exploring key spots within the Itanda Falls and Busowoko Falls. Following their journey, they resolved to allocate part of their trip savings to social corporate responsibility projects along the river. After researching various facilities, their guides recommended Jinja Hospital. Upon visiting the orthopedic ward, located approximately 10 meters from the administration block, they were dismayed by the overcrowding and stories of patients being discharged prematurely due to limited space. Alfred Yaye, the hospital director, expressed gratitude for the donation. He emphasized the relief it brings to patients who will now enjoy increased privacy and more quality time within healthcare. That has been the news, but before, let's look at what has made headlines. Masindi District Chairperson calls for increasing school capitation grant. Catholic bishops to start retreat this week. And European tourists construct orthopedic ward valued at 900 shillings Ugandan shillings. That has been the news here at BBS FM. And if that is, why must I not leave Studio One and wish you a blessed afternoon? Bon appetit.